am Tracy Schmidt, better known as Unstoppable Tracy, on the Today Show in Toronto. And today, you are going to be overwhelmed with this magnificent solution. And it is crucial, life-saving, needed everywhere. And I'm so glad to be inviting Evac Chair with Steve Agisnaga. Steve Agisnaga, some of you might have seen him at the show at the Abilities Expo, and Steve is an extraordinary resource with this incredible evacuation chair. So stay tuned for this special excerpt of a show with Steve Agisnaga.
The world we live in has changed. And though we can't control the actions of others or prevent every incident, we can implement certain safety measures that could save lives should an emergency situation arise. The Evac Chair, the world's #1 emergency stairwell evacuation chair. In the event of an emergency, those that are mobility impaired or injured will need assistance. As the elevators will be out of use, the Evac Chair will help with the quick and safe evacuation of people. Under heightened anxiety and exertion, depending on the level of the emergency, it could be almost anyone that requires evacuating. The Evac Chair is an essential safety provision for any building with stairs, no matter how big or small. The Evac Chair comes with a head support and a whole host of accessories. There are a wide range of chairs on offer. A chair for every kind of building and evacuation. Like schools or hospitals with progressive horizontal evacuations, and airports with phased or staged evacuations. The Evac Chair range tackles a wide variety of stairwells. The Evac Chair 600 and IBEX can even do an ascending evacuation. People all over the world have used the Evac Chair. People like John Abruzzo, who was safely evacuated from the 69th floor of the World Trade Center on 9/11.
The first plane hit the tower that day. John, like others, rushed to the stairwell. However, evacuation for John Abruzzo would prove much more difficult. How do you get a man who lives in a wheelchair down 69th floors? Evac Chairs, stairway evacuation chair. They are put on every floor. The implementation of the products proved successful on 9/11. John Abruzzo did make it out of the building on 9/11 because of the Evac Chair.
Almost every building has a fire extinguisher. We consider the Evac Chair just as important. From something as simple as a broken elevator to an emergency situation, the Evac Chair is the perfect solution for a stairway descent. In the world we live in now, anything is possible. The Evac Chair ensures a safe evacuation for those that need it should any kind of emergency arise, and could very well save lives.
Welcome to the Today Show. I am Tracy Schmidt, Unstoppable Tracy, and my guest today on the Today Show of the Disability Channel tuning in live from a school environment. You can see the stairs and you can see students' feet. Welcome, Steve.
Thank you, Tracy, for having me. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
Oh my goodness, I am blown away that you are our guest today, and by so many of your stories. So tell us a little bit about where you are right this very second. What's going on in the background?
Well, as you can see, students coming down. We're in a school right now in Toronto, and they're right now looking at changing some of their safety protocols in the school.
Which is amazing.
It is.
Steve, so you're in this unique industry. Have you got a disability?
I don't, but I have family members that do.
And so what brought you into the Evac Chair world? What's your background?
Well, I love safety. I've always been helping people in different aspects. And the company's 40 years old. I'm 40 years old, so I haven't been with this since the start. But they're the original manufacturer of evacuation chairs. They actually designed it in the US, and it's manufactured in the UK. And the person who actually designed it, his wife had polio. And back in 1982, he was stuck on the high-rise building with his wife with polio, and she had no way down. So from that moment on, he said, what can I do to help not just my wife, but everyone else?
Oh my goodness. Well, that's what an incredible past founding story. And it kind of explains why Steve's head is in the lower half of the screen because of the US. But as you can see, his head is moving up here into Canada's world now. And you're in Canada and Mexico. That's your personal territory.
Correct. In Toronto, I live in Toronto myself, and also I speak Spanish. So I am helping the accessibility industry in Mexico as well.
In Mexico. You know, Steve, I worked and I lived in Mexico as well for a little
beautiful.
while. Yeah. So mucho gusto, Steve.
mucho gusto.
It's wonderful. Oh my goodness. Steve, so, you know, it's kind of really extraordinary, the evolution of evacuation for people with disabilities. And you've seen the real gamut. Like some of the places you visited have scary solutions. So tell us a little bit about the old Evac Chair.
Yeah, actually, so we were in a school last week. They had chairs, evacuation chairs from the 70s and 80s. Wow. And, you know, they're still on the wall. But the problem is, back in those days, you would need 4 to 6 people to evacuate somebody, use that chair, which is extremely dangerous. If somebody falls, everything just collapses. Yes. And you're endangering so many lives. So the chair has really, really changed today, where just one person can get somebody out now.
Wow. And that's huge. And when you think of the 70s and somebody tripping and like it's just dumbfounded, and then there's a fire. So
correct.
I find, you know, in the pandemic, there are less people that are willing to open a door for me outdoors. So never mind a life-threatening situation when there's a fire. We're going to get 6 kind Samaritans that are willing to hang out and maybe get smoke inhalation to support me down a flight of stairs, right?
And just not a fire. Actually, the school I'm in Toronto, they don't have any evacuation chairs here, but they did have a shooting here not long ago. And that's why the school really is concerned about safety. And they said, okay, what else do we need here to protect our students, staff, and visitors if there's an emergency? Because if it's not a fire, you can imagine in a shooting, it's chaos. Everybody has to get out. And if somebody's on the 4th floor, because this school is 4 stories high, and they have a disability, or what if they have an underlying condition that you and I can't see? How do they run down the stairs? They can't.
No. Well, and you know, myself, I'm a 4-way amputee. I wear artificial legs, but 4 weeks ago, I was in a hotel in San Diego, a 5-star hotel, and the accessible room was on the 15th floor, and the power went out for 2 days.
Wow.
So
imagine.
For a day and a half, I didn't even have food until people started to decide, okay, we're going to walk up 15 flights of stairs to bring you some food. But I mean, that wasn't a fire or a shooting. It was just a power out that was extended. And I was in an accessible room on the 15th floor.
Imagine. Well, there's fires, gas leaks, power outage, earthquakes, so many things that could happen where the elevator stopped working, and everybody needs to be treated equally. Everybody should have a fair fighting chance to get out. And what we preach all the time is no one should be left behind. Absolutely not.
That's right. You know, Steve, just yesterday, my mother was nervous about a fire alarm that went off in my condominium. And it's the 4th floor. And my mom can do stairs, but she recently fractured her back. So she can walk with a fractured back, but she has a fractured back. So you can imagine the pounding of going down the stairs.
Correct.
So she's not listed as a person with a disability, and she's actively aging, but there's this current unexpected circumstance of a fractured back where she's mobile, but she couldn't do 4 flights of stairs.
Yeah.
And so
everybody knows the story.
Yeah. It doesn't have to be that there's a person with a disability in your school or your church or your place of business.
Yeah. At the Abilities Expo, I was able to talk to so many families in so many different scenarios. I had one family, they had a child with a disability, and they told me they stopped traveling because of the headaches, the hours of wait time, just because they had no way to go down or upstairs.
Yeah.
But thankfully, they got to see one of our products that's a power chair that goes up and down. That made their life 10 times easier now. Now they're able to travel, they're going to start taking it up again, and the whole family's happy because now they can do what they want to do.
Oh my gosh. Do you have a video on that, Steve?
We do. We have a video that shows a petite lady carrying an elderly man up and down the stairs, battery operated. You're not lifting, you're not carrying. It's a fantastic product for homes even, where, you know, a lot of people today are renting or live in a basement, and you're not allowed to modify the home. So what do you do if you have a disability, even a temporary rehab, you hurt yourself? How do you go up and down the stairs? So this product that we do have a video that hopefully can be shared is an incredible device that allows you maneuverability inside and outside the home.
Phenomenal. Okay. Do you know what, Steve? Let's stop right here and watch this video. We're going to insert the video, and then we're going to go to commercial break. And
Sounds great.
after the commercial, Steve's coming back, and he has a special guest with him that he'd like to introduce, and he's going to talk to us more about Evac Chairs today and some of the other stellar features and cool stories that he has up his sleeve. So please stay tuned for right after these messages.
Hi, this is Dave Stevens with the Disability Channel.
An inability to break out. I'm sitting by the door on the 2nd floor, losing my 7-year war. It's not an illusion, so why the exclusion?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's about you. So.
You say you're a disability dynamo.
Joining me, and welcome to this beautiful Travelers Championship.
I only want one accolade from you.
So my story is unique, it's amazing, but it's not anything that you guys don't have inside of you. I'm not a hero, I'm not anybody special. I'm just this guy without legs that went out, and I just did it.
Stats outweigh the Democrats, the diplomats, and the bureaucrats.
This is probably your first interview down on the ground on your butt and stuff like that?
First time ever,
All
baby.
right.
Eliminate and validate and validate and validate.
Stay with us and the Disability Channel.
Welcome back to the Today Show Toronto. I am Tracy Schmidt, Unstoppable Tracy, with the Disability Channel on Bell 5. And I am so pleased, if you're just tuning in now, I have Steve Agisnaga with me from Evac Chair, and it's all over the world. Now, Steve's specialty is Canada and Mexico, but you have just watched the power version of this stair climber for folks like myself. I used to live in a basement apartment, and now I'm actively aging. It's hard for me to do those stairs, and I had to move because I couldn't go up and down those basement stairs. And so this solution we just watched is an answer to so many of my roadblocks. Steve, welcome to the show. Thank you for
Thank
joining
you.
us.
It's a pleasure, Tracy.
And Steve, what are you sitting on right now?
I am on a power chair, actually.
You're on one of the power chairs?
Yes, this is the one that you just saw the video of. And like I said before, I'm at a school right now in Toronto because they're interested in obviously changing their safety protocols to include power chairs and evacuation chairs to get everybody out.
If you deke your head, can we see your brand?
There you go.
Evac Chair, so great.
And there you go.
And celebrating a shout out for Canada because so many of our listeners are in Canada, although it is an international show. Most of our listeners are in Canada. Steve, I understand that you have a special guest with you today that's just beside you and about. Yeah, so please share who you've got with you.
I will.
Hello.
Hello, it's so nice to see you. I'm very excited to see you, Narayan. Oh my goodness. Narayan Singh, correct?
That's right.
HME Mobility Toronto.
Yes.
So please share with us your relationship with Evac Chair and who you are.
Well, my name is Ian Narinesingh. We are a distributor of special needs equipment in Toronto. We recently started working with Evac Chairs as well because a lot of the schools are interested in getting one of these into the schools, especially if you have more than one floor or even a basement. Also, long-term care facilities as well. Right?
Oh my goodness. And how did you get into the industry, HME?
I used to work as an equipment manager a long time ago at a children's treatment center. And then I just evolved into this position.
So that's wonderful. You've gone from working with children to working with all ages in long-term care places.
Yes.
Well, that's fantastic. Ian, do you have a fun story or memory of a customer that's been impacted by either HME Mobility or this Evac Chair that you could share? A real life warm story?
Oh, so many. You know what? I'm one of those people, kind of like Steve as well. Nobody should be without mobility. You know what? Everybody should be able to do everything that everybody does. So I have this thing where I don't like to see equipment sitting around collecting dust. I would rather it be used, or if something needs to be repaired, let's get it repaired and get it working for the person right away. Right? I'm just one of those people. Now, for the Evac chairs, we recently did demos in our office as well, and they kind of use me as the dummy. Because a lot of people, they see the Evac chair and they want to know, well, how does it work? You know, the angle and all that stuff. But once you sit in it and they tilt it back and you start going down the stairs, you realize it's just like sitting in a regular chair.
Yes.
Right.
And the idea is to go down the stairs, not up. When I see the stairs behind you,
yes,
or I was going to say, Steve, drag them up the stairs, but it's a downstairs thing.
No, it actually goes up the stairs as well.
Well, I heard you didn't have a big breakfast. Is Steve able to pull you up a stair or two?
Doesn't even need to do that. The power assisted one, you can just raise it with like one hand.
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. Well, Steve, how complicated is it for you to do a fast, impromptu of the moment? Would you like to do that, Steve? Are you able to choreography that?
I'm going up and downstairs. Sure, absolutely. Give me 1 second. I'll do it right here, right now. So this is the bad operated chair. Has a 4-point harness. We bring Ian back to the stairs. All we do is push a button, and the chair goes up. As you can see, I'm not lifting, I'm not pulling.
Whoa.
Very, very smooth. And to go down, same thing, just push a button, and it goes down. I'm not pulling, I'm not carrying, effortless.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it also acts like a wheelchair that we can take from point A to point B as well.
Oh, wow. So, Ian, how did that feel?
It felt like a king.
I don't think dummy was the right word. I think king is definitely the right word.
I had to do nothing there. All I had to do was relax.
And so he was saying something about a 4-point harness. I don't know if Steve wants to pop in with you or either or.
We'll get it done right here, right now.
And so you were really comfortable even without the harness.
Yes.
That's how secure it was.
Yes.
But that if somebody doesn't have torso muscles like yourself or mobility in their legs, so they're more top heavy.
Right.
Back to back. These go back to back. This one, no, back to back like that.
All right.
And the belt goes through it. There you go. Goes through both of those. And you clip it in. So Tracy, this 4-point harness, as you can see,
Yep.
is useful for many people who don't have good support. Now, at the Abilities Expo, I had a lot of families that had children with zero trunk support. So what they do with this chair is they put a tomato chair inside here, like one of their own, and that allows for the child to have the required to use the chair.
Fantastic. Fantastic workaround. Now, I did notice that you were doing some coaching around the seatbelt there. What is some of your fail safes for there's a fire and Steve isn't there to coach us through the seatbelt? Is there like a picture they follow in the moment, or how does that work?
Sorry, Tracy, you cut out there. Could you repeat that?
So I noticed some coaching around the seatbelt. And when we don't have Steve during the fire or the evacuation, how do we make sure that we're able to use that seatbelt confidently?
So this seatbelt here?
Yes.
So it's a 4-point harness.
Backwards and forwards and.
Yeah, so this seatbelt here, obviously you want to have somebody, this chair is not so much for an evacuation. So you always want to have somebody who's able-bodied to operate the chair. So there'll always be somebody to assist you with the belt to make sure you're nice and secure. For a child or somebody else with zero trunk support, we can include the tomato chair or another kind of chair where the body has the full support it needs and you feel safe in it.
So now I get it. Your company provides this chair, but this isn't an Evac chair so much as an access to stairs chair. Nice.
Correct. Yeah, because this chair, well, some places like this school, for example, that has elevators or a basement, you may require to go up the stairs at some point if there was an emergency or if the elevators are being repaired. A great product for senior homes, Del Manor, which is a chain of senior homes in Toronto, they had an elevator out for 3 months and they had to carry the elderly up and down the stairs until the elevators were fixed. This product, they found it, and obviously it made all the staff very happy because they didn't have to do that anymore. And the most important thing, the safety of the seniors as well, right? Because carrying them up could be extremely dangerous.
Yeah. And I notice our time is coming towards a commercial, but I know as well, I wonder if airlines have considered your solution for airline stairs too.
Yeah, so our product, that one over there, which I'll show you right now, this one here, this is the Evac manual chair. This one is at the Pearson Airport. And it's important to have that. Now, airlines themselves, because the area is narrow, there are chairs that are narrow for those areas.
Yes.
We do have a video, if you wanted to share it, that talks about the evacuation chairs, where it came from. And we have a beautiful story, how a gentleman was saved from the 9/11 towers from the 69th floor.
Whoa.
And if anybody's ever at the museum for the 9/11 towers, you will see the Evac Chair on display. So we have a video of that as well.
Oh my goodness, we must take a pause. Okay, listeners, we're going to insert that 911 story and video. and then we're going to break for a commercial. But please stay tuned. Right after the break, we're going to return with Steve with Evac Chair, and we're going to find out a little bit about what's in store in the future and how to find Steve and how to find access to these chairs, as well as HME mobility for the warm, heartfelt Ian. Mr. Singh, we are so glad that you joined us for being our king of the chair demo. So we'll be back right after these messages.
Welcome to our 2-minute Evac Chair virtual demo. This video is going to show you why the Evac Chair is the world's #1 stairway evacuation chair. The Evac Chair Power 800 provides a complete stair ascending and descending solution. It can be used by a single person, providing quick, easy, and safe stairway ascent and descent. Holding the chair by the handle, lower the seat into its horizontal position. Extend the handles on the back of the chair to assist with horizontal travel, and the front of the chair to be used as armrests. For 2-person operation, the front handles can be extended to aid in guiding the chair up or down the stairs. To release the tracks, use your foot to press the release pedal and tracks will glide into position. Ensure power is on and press either the up or down arrow to move the tracks in the direction required. The passenger can now be transferred to the seat of the chair. Once seated, the safety belt can now be fastened. On transferring, the occupant can self-transfer or can be transferred in line with guidance from their healthcare professional. For stairway ascent, move top handle to desired locking position. Move the chair backwards until tracks meet bottom stair edge. Then tilt chair back to the balance point until tracks meet the bottom 2 stair nosing, and press the up arrow on the control panel. Keep the up arrow depressed. Allow tracks to meet their glide angle. For stairway descent, make sure the handle is locked in desired locking position. Then roll the chair to stair edge. Tilt the chair back to its balance point for tracks to meet the floor, and press the down arrow on the control panel. Keep the downward arrow depressed while keeping the chair straight. Allow tracks to meet their glide angle. At the bottom of the stairs, simply tilt chair forward, using your foot as a counterbalance if needed in a controlled manner to continue horizontal travel. Once final destination has been reached, safety belt can be released and passenger can exit the chair. At Evac Chair, we ensure 100% customer satisfaction and never compromise on quality. All our chairs come with a lifetime warranty and a competitive price guarantee. With hundreds of thousands of already satisfied customers, Evac Chair is the world's #1 stairway evacuation chair. I hope you've enjoyed our demo, and please contact us for further information.
Welcome to the Today Show. If you're just tuning in, I'm Schmidt, Unstoppable Tracy, with the Disability Channel on Bell 5. And my extraordinary guest today is crushing obstacles around the world with Evac Chair. And we are so lucky to have the Canada-Mexico representative, Steve Agisnaga. Am I saying that right?
A tongue twister. A tongue twister.
A tongue twister. What's the origin of your name, Steve?
I'm Spanish, from Uruguay in South America originally.
Oh, wow, in Uruguay.
I was born in Toronto, but my parents are from Uruguay in South America.
From Uruguay. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And we're so lucky that you do have some Spanish influence because of Evac Chair now going to Mexico too. I love that you're international. We certainly need this around the world.
We do.
And, you know, before the break, we watched this video of the 911 story of people using your manual Evac Chair.
Yeah, that story really tells you a lot about the chair. He was on the 69th floor of the Twin Towers when the planes hit. And the crazy thing is they didn't even install the chair. The chair was still in the box. And yeah, and the gentleman was in a wheelchair. Someone grabbed the chair out of the box, put him on our evac chair, and took him down 69 floors. And he's here to tell the story. A beautiful story. He got saved, but because the evac chairs were on every single floor of that building. If they weren't on that floor or in the building, how would he have come down in a wheelchair 69 floors? He wouldn't be here to tell the story.
No, and I mean, the fact is, the other piece of the puzzle I know with accessibility and all adaptions is that people need to know. Like sometimes we have an area for people to relieve for their working dogs, or sometimes we have a borrow chair or an evac chair, or we have an accessible washroom. But if people don't know where they are, like then it's the solution isn't available. We need to also educate. And so
100%.
I think it's extraordinary that somebody knew that box existed and pulled it out to make it happen.
It should be installed, but obviously they had just received it. The evac chairs are usually installed in a stairwell if there's enough room, or beside the elevator, because when there's an evacuation, everyone flocks to the elevators. When they know they're not working, then they head towards the stairs, right? Yes. Another thing with accessibility, as we talked about a long time ago, everyone thinks about getting in to a place, either a school, a senior home, a corporate office, whatever it is. But no one ever thinks about getting people out. Today, the protocol, or what people tend to do, is stay put. And that is extremely dangerous, too many variables. There can be an accident, a fire department could arrive late. When someone stays put, someone else has to stay with you. The first aid responders have to come look for you. So many more lives are in danger. And actually, Tracy, I'm not sure if you're aware about the Grenfell Towers in Europe, what happened.
No, please tell me.
So it's about 4 or 5 years old now, but it's still in court because they did a stay put protocol in a high-rise tower. 71 people perished, sadly. 41% of them were people with disabilities. And they were told to stay put. And because the fire got out of control, 71 people died. Extremely sad. And we hope we never hear a story like that again. In Canada, you know, I hope no tragedy ever occurs like that. And stay put is not taken to heart like that. Like, everybody has to get out. No one should be left behind. And everybody has to be treated equally. Everyone should be treated equally.
You know, I tell this story called Nobody Left Behind. And every time you say it, it hits my heart, because that's what my mom's always told me. And she meant me in a schoolyard. And none of us ever imagined that that would be in a life or death situation.
Correct.
And I think people think, well, that's the rare and that's the one-off and that it doesn't matter. But I know for myself, my entire life, every year of my life, I'm always in a fire drill somewhere, my client, my school, my place of business, my event, my hotel. And every time, protocol during the fire drill is that it's a fire drill, just stand by the elevator. And they tell me that every year, multiple times a year. But so what is your awareness around the legalities of that?
So I'm not telling you to go sue them, but it did happen in New York, in a school in New York. It's public, it's online as well. I can share that link after. There was a fire drill at a school, and there was a girl in a wheelchair, and they told her to wait on the second floor because, one, they didn't have a way to get her down, and it was only a drill. The parents found out, they sued the school for discrimination, and they won a $23 million lawsuit. And then guess what happened? By the order of the DOJ, our company got an order for one evacuation chair. They could have saved a lot of money, obviously, because of the lawsuit, and it was just a discrimination lawsuit. And imagine something happens to somebody. You know, that's the worst tragedy. But just having a drill and leaving someone behind, you're being discriminatory against them, right? Everybody should have a fair chance. And honestly, they should be practicing how to get somebody out in a wheelchair.
Yes. And that's why we do drills, right? Highlight 100%. The performance gap.
100%.
Not like, okay, here's a drill, you wait here because we don't know how to solve this.
Exactly.
Right?
Doesn't make sense.
Because of those 41 deaths.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Yeah.
So they are taking away that stay put protocol in Europe because of that. You know, if you think about something that our firemen today, they're heroes. They truly are. And their job is to go put out the fire. If you leave people behind, you're making their job harder, right? They shouldn't be going in a building looking for people. They're there to solve the emergency at hand. And how happy they would be arriving to a building and someone says, hey, everybody's out.
Yeah. Or
How many firemen die? How many firemen die going looking for people inside, right?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my gosh, Steve, it has been really enlightening having you on the show today.
Thank you.
I know that all of our listeners are going to get out there and advocate and share Evac Chair Canada. If you're in Canada, reach out to Steve. If you're anywhere in the world, Steve will hook you up in Toronto or anywhere in the world to help, at the very least, get a demo, get educated, because this is a lifesaver. And the reason that there's laws, the reason that they're winning lawsuits for discrimination is because it does cost lives. And so we need it not because it's the law. We need it because it's the life.
Correct.
Lost, and nobody is meant to be left behind.
And Tracy, something else, the NFPA, the National Fire Protection Association, recommends having evacuation chairs. Also, the Disabilities Act of Ontario recommends having evacuation chairs. And something else, the Labor Code of Ontario or of Canada says that everybody has a fair right to have accessibility in, but also exiting. And I think a lot of people don't take that to heart.
Yes. And the Canadian Disability Act is rolling out. And so it's just a matter of months, worst case a year, before people are going to be accountable in an even deeper way with the Canadian Disability Act. In America, there's the Americans with Disability Act. But around the world, we have the United Nations rights of nobody left behind. In other words, but basically, everyone has a right to not be left behind in the world. So, and human rights. There's all these legislations in the human rights world. So I love that you highlight, we've got our AODA and we have our labor laws and we have our building codes, but we definitely have our hearts and our brains. And we all know someone who is elderly, someone who's had a broken leg, someone that's pregnant, someone with a disability. We need these chairs, easy access around the world. Steve, thank you. Thank you for highlighting the easiness of this incredible chair and the solutions to live anywhere you want, basement or otherwise, with some of your other resources. And please thank Ian Singh, Mr. Singh, because he's an extraordinary, heartfelt HME mobility provider as well. One last shout out. Where do they find you, Steve?
Well, you can come visit our site at evac-chair.ca, or you can reach me directly at 647-673-4390. And if you do a quick search on Google for evacuation chairs, you'll find us there as well.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you, listeners, for absorbing this phenomenal content today. I am saying goodbye to our magnificent Steve Agisnaga from Uruguay, Evac Chair. And I'm also saying goodbye from Tracy Schmidt, Unstoppable Tracy, on the Today Show Toronto, the Disability Channel here on Bell 5. Thanks for watching.
Thank you. Bye-bye.